Hey, fourth graders, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our lesson. And we are going to look at lesson 505, and we're going to be focusing on long division today. So we've had some different strategies for division that we've already looked at so far. The first one would be that we were doing the area model of division. Then we did partial quotient division. Now we're going to move into a strategy called long division. So we have multiple tools that we've put into our math toolbox. Now we're going to go ahead and add to it. So my question to you is, what is long division? And you might be like, ooh, I don't know, it sounds really long. Do I want something long? And the answer is long division is a way of showing division equations in just a different way. This is usually the traditional way that most of your parents have learned. So when we're looking at it today, you might be like, oh, this is really similar to how my parents have told me about division. So the steps in long division, so if you have your math journal, we want to go ahead and grab that. And we're going to go ahead and put the steps for long division into our math journal right now. So I'm going to go ahead and grab mine. I'm going to go ahead and open up, and let's go ahead and take a look at long division. So right here, you'll see there's my math journal. I'm going to go ahead and put, what are we doing, at the top. So this is for math, and we are doing lesson 505 today. And remember, I said that we were looking at long division. So my steps in long division, there are 4 of them. So number 1, we're going to divide. Number 2 is we're going to multiply. After divide, after multiply, our third step is to subtract. Our fourth step is to bring down. And then the fifth step is to repeat. So it might say only 4 in our lesson, but we have to repeat the process. We don't just stop after we bring down a number. We have to keep repeating this process until we run out of numbers. So we'll kind of look at that here in an example really quick. So let's take a look at the one that I had on my Nearpod slide that you still probably can see. So, but right here, I'm going to go ahead and set up my number. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put my dividend in here, which is 229. Remember, the dividend is the number being divided. My divisor, so the number that's going to go into 229, is the number 8. So I've set it up first. So I'm going to look at my first 2. So this is in the place value of that 200s place value. 8 currently can't go into the number 2. 8 doesn't multiply and get the number 2. So now I have to shift over to the tens place value. So now I see, okay, I have 8. Can 8 multiply and get close to the number 22? Yeah, it can. I know that 8 multiplied by 2 is 16. So I've done divide, multiply, 8 times 2. Now I'm going to subtract. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to take 22, take away 16. Really, this is saying 8 groups of 20 because it's in the tens place value. So 8 groups of 20 is really 160. So really we're doing 229, taking away 160. It just doesn't look like that. But because we're in the tens place value, that's how I know that. So 2 groups of 10 take away 6 groups of 10. Can't do it, so I have to go next door and borrow a group of 10. So I have one group of 10 left. I'm going to add 10 to the number 12 to the number 2 to get 12. So 12 groups of 10, take away 6 groups of 10 leaves me with 6. Then I have one group of 100, take away a group of 100. There's no groups of 100. So now I've subtracted. Now I need to bring down. Well, bring down what? Well, we're going to bring down this 9 right here. So I'm going to bring it down and I'm going to put it next to my 6 groups of 10. So 6 groups of 10 plus 9 more gives me 69. So now I'm going to repeat the process. Can 8 multiply and get close to the number 69? Yeah, I know 8 multiplied by 8 is 64. When I subtract, okay, I know that 8 times 8 is 64, and 9 take away 4 is 5. 6 tens take away 6 tens is no tens. There's not another place value here. And in 4th grade, we are done. We write a remainder as 28, remainder 5. Now I'm going to check and see if I get 229 because that means I solved my problem correctly. So to check, we have to do the inverse. And remember, we've talked about the inverse is the opposite. So that means we're going to multiply to check it. So to multiply to check, I'm going to take 8 times 28. So I like the area model of multiplication. So I'm going to have 8, 20 plus 8. I know whatever I get, I'm going to take that number and I'm going to add 5 to it because I had a remainder of 5. So I have to make sure I take my product, whatever I get, and add 5 to it. I'm hoping I'm going to get 229 because that means I did my math correctly. I know 8 groups of 20 is 160. I know 8 groups of 8 is 64. To do some mental math here to make it easier on my brain, I'm going to break it apart to make compatible numbers. I know 160 plus 40 more gives me 200. So I'm going to break 64 into 60 and 24 because now I can do compatible numbers and do some easy mental math to get 200 plus that 24, which equals 224. 224 plus that 5 more gives me 229. That matches, oh, and it kind of stalled, didn't it? That matches what I got. So if I lost you right here because my iPad froze, I broke apart into 60, into 40, and 24. I then did 20 plus 20, 200 plus 24 to get 224, plus 5 more to get 229. My numbers match. Check. So I know I solved my problem correctly. Let's go ahead and get ready to kind of try another one. All right, so let's grab our math journals on this one. Let's turn over and let's try one more. Let's try the number 3 divided into 523. Let's review the steps. We have divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, repeat. Okay, so I'm going to start with my first place value. Okay, can 3 go into the number 5 by itself? Yeah, I know 3 times 1 gives me 3. I'm going to take away. So 5 groups of 100, take away 3 groups of 100, leaves me with 2 groups of 100 left. I'm going to bring down my 2. Now I'm going to repeat the process again. Can 3 divide into 22? Sure can. I know 3 times 7 is 21. So when I multiply 3 times 7 to get 21, I see that 22, take away 21, leaves me with 1. I'm now going to bring down my 3, and now I'm going to repeat the process again. Does 3 multiply to get close to the number 13? Yeah, I know 3 times 4 is 12. So 3 times 4 is 12. When I subtract, I'm going to get the number 1. So my quotient I got is 174 with a remainder of 1. I need to check myself to make sure I did my math correctly. So now I'm going to multiply, adding in the remainder to see if I get 523. So let's see if I did this correctly. So again, I like the area model of multiplication. You might have a different model that you like best, but I'm going to take 174 and spread it out to its expanded notation place value. Whatever I get for that product, I'm going to add the number 1 to it. I'm multiplying by that number 3. 3 times 100 is 300. 3 groups of 70 is 210. I know 3 plus 3 times 4 is 12. When I add my numbers together, and again, I'm going to do some quick mental math. I know 300 plus 210 is 510. I'm going to break this apart into 10 and 2. So 510 plus 10 more is 520 plus 2 more equals 522. 522 is going to go in my box. Plus 1 more gives me 523. I see my number 523, 523, check. They match. So I know I did my division and my multiplication correctly. I want you to go ahead and try the next one. I want you to try the number 8 divided into 864. Go ahead and pause the recording right now and let's see how you do. When you're ready, restart it and check your math to see how accurate you were. All right, so I need to divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and repeat. Okay, here we go. I know 8 can divide into 8 one time, so 8 times one group of 8 gives me 8. When I subtract, I get 0 groups of 8. I'm going to bring down the 6. Uh-oh, Mrs. MG didn't talk about this. Okay, so right here, 8 can't go into the number 6, but there's a number next to it, that 4. I have to put a place value holder in because I'm moving over to the next place value. 8 goes into this 6 0 times. It can't do it. Now I'm going to move over and I'm going to bring down the 4. Now I have 64. Hey, I know 8 times 8 is 64, and I have no remainders. My quotient I got is 108. But now I'm going to multiply and check to see if I did it correctly. I know 8 times 8 is 64, dropping my 4, regrouping 6 tens. 8 times no tens plus 6 more tens brings down 6 tens. 8 times one group of 100 gives me 800. Hey, I got 864. Check. So I know I did my math correctly. All right, let's go ahead and talk about your assignment today. So when we head over into Buzz and we take a look at our assignment today, I know that when we log in and we look at today's math, which is 505, you are going to have some practice problems where you are in Module 5. You're going to go into 505 on long division. You'll see that I've put a Khan Academy video clip here to review how to do long division. And you have some sample problems that you'll do and a division practice sheet to kind of take a look at to review. When you get to the last page, it's going to say, hey, here's your handout for long division. I have to see your work. Remember to show all your work. So write the entire quotient. Remember, quotient's the answer to a division problem on the line. So we have 6 problems you're going to do at the end of that lesson. So good luck, 4th grade. You got this.